I read the Les Miserables, 4th chapter, The Cost of a Loaf of Bread. One evening in October 1815, a man set foot in the small town of Digny. He was wearing a dirty, ragged clothes and carrying a large knapsack on his back. He stopped by the town hall where a stranger had reported when they arrived. Then he trudged into an inn nearby. "What can I do for you?" asked the innkeeper. Longing on something to eat," said the man. "I can pay." "In that case, you're welcome," said the innkeeper, as the stranger dropped into a chair by the fire, and the innkeeper wrote a note. "Take this to the town hall," he whispered to the kitchen boy. Minutes later, the boy returned and handed the note to the innkeeper. He frowned as he read it. He approached the stranger and said, "You can't stay here." "Why?" said the stranger. "I have money." "I know who you are. I can't serve a convict. I'm a free man. I can pay in advance if you want." Leave my inn," said the innkeeper angrily. The stranger picked up his knapsack and left. 19 years before, the man had been an honest, hard-working young lumberjack. After losing his job, he stole a loaf of bread to feed his sister's hungry children. He was caught and sentenced to 5 years in prison. 4 times he had attempted to escape. And 4 times he failed. Each time his sentence increased. Now he was 46 years old and he had recently been released from Toulon prison. His name was Jean Valjean. Night was falling and it was bitterly cold. He was thirsty, hungry, and exhausted from walking all day. He tried every inn in the town, but no one would let him stay. Finally, he gave up all and lay down on a freezing stone bench near the church. "I will sleep here. I can't walk anymore. I can't walk any further tonight." Just then, an old man came out of the church and said, "You can't sleep here. If you don't have anywhere to go, look there. They will help you." She pointed to a small house across the street. It was the house of Muriel, the Bishop of Digny, who lived simply and gave all his money to the poor. He owned nothing valuable except some silverware he had inherited from his great aunt. John knocked, and the door was opened by an old man about 75 years of age. "How may I help you?" said the bishop with a smile. "A good woman told me to come here. I'm starving and exhausted, but because I was convicted, no one will let me stay. I have a yellow passport that says I'm a dangerous man. Will you let me stay? I can pay." John waited for the man to tell him to leave, but instead, the bishop invited John inside. "This is God's house. You're welcome to share everything we have." "What? Really? You let me stay?" said John in confusion. You're humane, sir." Hesitantly, he stepped inside. The housekeeper set the table with a silver plate on a white cloth and lit candles in silver candlesticks. Then she brought supper of soup, bacon and mutton, a fresh cheese and bread. The bishop politely asked John to sit beside him at the table, and as soon as the bishop finished saying grace, John ate hungrily until he could eat no more. After supper, the bishop showed John to guest room. No sooner had John gone to bed than he fell fast asleep. At 2 in the morning, John awoke and had trouble falling asleep again because the bed was so comfortable. Suddenly a thought flashed through his mind. The bishop's silver! He had seen the housekeeper placing it in a cupboard beside the bishop's bed. I could sell it for 200 francs, or more, perhaps even more. He rose to his feet and quietly opened the door to the bishop's room. The bishop lay asleep on his back, breathing peacefully. As John reached the bedside, a ray of moonlight lit up the bishop's gentle face. There was something divine and serene about him. He looks like a sleeping god. I shouldn't steal from him, but he stood for a moment, gazing in awe at the sleeping man. Then he moved quickly past the bed to the cupboard. He grabbed the silver plates and soup-ladily put them into his hip knapsack and fled through the window into the darkness. The next day, four policemen arrived at the bishop's house. Three of them held John by the collar. The fourth police inspector advanced toward the bishop and gave a military salute. Bishop, he said. Here you are, said the Bishop of Jan. I'm so glad to see you again. But I gave you the candlestick too. Why didn't you take them? John looked at him in stunned disbelief. Not only had the bishop forgiven his crime, but he was also giving John his precious silver candlesticks. Do you know this man, sir? Asked the police inspector. We stopped him because he looked suspicious. Then we arrested him because he had a knapsack full of silverware, which we thought he had stolen. You made a mistake. Let him go. The police released John and went away. My friend, said the bishop quietly to John, take these candlesticks too. Trembling with fear, John put the candlestick in his knapsack. The bishop continued with them. I bought your soul and given it to God. Use this wealth wisely to make yourself an honest man. All that day, John wandered about the deserted plain. He was possessed by a variety of new sensations. Memories of his years in prison came into his mind, and he was overcome with anger. Why had God given him such a hard life? At the same time, he felt a tenderness that he had not known for 19 years. At sunset, he was sitting in the shade of bush when a boy walked by, tossing a coin. The boy missed the coin, and it rolled toward John. Without thinking, John put his foot over it. Sir, my franc is under your foot. Please give it to me. Get lost! Screamed John. A look of terror came into the boy's eyes. When John started shouting at him again, the boy turned and ran away. An instant later, John realized what he had done. Oh my God, he cried. I'm a monster. I've stolen from a child. He set out in the direction in which the boy had run. He prayed to God forgiveness as he searched. But the boy was gone. John broke down and wept bitterly for a long time. He remembered what the bishops had said to him. He vowed to the God that he would be like the bishop and fill his life with good deeds. For the first time, John felt truly free.